David, what is intelligence?
Intelligence is having a bunch of data points and being able to connect them. That's it. That's why children, you look at some kids and they're really great at computers, and someone who's older or whatever may not be as good as these young kids are on computers. It's because they're more intelligent. In other words, they have more knowledge, they have more data about what computers are, so they're able to connect, and they're able to connect the dots. Just because you have a lot of data doesn't necessarily mean that you can connect the dots, but if you have intelligence, you can connect the dots. So they have the data, they have the ability to connect the dots. And it's possibly a third thing. It's possibly the ability to get more dots in the system. So you to learn, and then to assimilate, and then connect more dots. So we see people from other countries coming to, let's say they come to America, and then from day one, it's hard because, teenagers in America are able to, they might come from other professions, but from day one, teenagers in America are able to get better results like reading or, just living, because they have the data bank of the English language, which is, it's already in their heads, they've been exposed to English, their database is full of English, so they're able to make more connections just right away. And language is actually having a big database of understanding for language is actually the very first step in a lot of forms of intelligence. Because a lot of things are communicated with language. Sometimes mathematicians can get away with not having a big database there. I remember I went to USC, and the math program there was it was ridiculous because I couldn't understand what anybody said in that math department. There were so many people from that math department from other countries, and they didn't even, forget accent. They didn't even have vocabulary. So I couldn't understand what they said, but it worked for them because math is its own language. But any other thing outside of math or some really hard sciences where you have your own language, not having the English language is really, it's a big hindrance to it. So that's one form of intelligence. Other forms of intelligence may be, in your career, you might have a lot of specialized knowledge about what a certain thing is or not, and then when a similar event or a similar problem comes up, you can quickly identify and react with a solution. That's why a lot of employers like people with experience, because they assume, even though most of the time isn't the case, but they assume that experience equals more intelligence because you have more data points. But the other half of that is being able to connect the data points. So you might have someone with a lot of experience who doesn't know how to really connect all their lessons, and so they end up not being as effective as someone with less experience who can make the connection. So it's a fine balance. Data points or dots and connecting the dots.